'cause I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister. I'm Mr. 101. They call me Heatmiser. Whatever I touch starts to melt in my clutch. I'm too much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Heatmiser Hour, your premier source for all things hot, happening, and peer-reviewed. In this week's episode, number 568, we are proud to announce the launch of our brand new website, wildfireawareness.com. Our website will be able to show you visuals of the topics we discuss here, such as graphics and on-site imagery. You'll also be able to find links to the scientific and governmental sources we use. We've worked hard on it, and we hope to see you there. See you there. Our first order of business today is also the first topic that will be available to see on our website: the carnage in California and other devastating wildfires in Canada and Oklahoma. In pressing news, the situation in Oklahoma is largely uncontrolled. At approximately 2:20 p.m. on February 26, 2024, Texas A&M Forest Service received a request for assistance for a wildfire in Hutchinson County, Texas. Texas A&M Forest Service crews are working one unified command with local resources. The fire ignited 1 mile north of Sinnott, Texas, and east of Highway 207, with initial fire behavior reported as extremely active in tall grasses due to high winds and low relative humidity. Now, take some note there. Low humidity and high grasses, we're going to come back to that. It's a point of focus. You'll see that in our mood climate change experiment. There are hundreds of homes and ranches in the affected area, and we expect there to be some more growth before this one is contained. The fire is called the Smokehouse Fire for the ability to destroy a couple of pretty infamous local smokehouses in the Oklahoma area. A survey by Risk Factor determined that 126,754 homes are at risk of wildfires in the next 30 years in Oklahoma. We switch the focus to our neighbors up north. The 2023 Canadian wildfire season has been a record-breaking year, with over 45 million acres burned. The fires first started in May and did not end until October, and come back again, end in quotation marks. Canada produced 23% of the global wildfire carbon emissions for 2023. That's pretty astounding, especially with such the size of Canada and not that many forest fires before this year. By October, the total number of fires reported was 6,595. This is not an unusual number, but the size of the fires was due to the locations being so remote. As Canada goes, it's pretty sparse up there. Many of Canada's fires were ignited by summer lightning storms burning for months. A total of 9 people have been killed. 8 of those were firefighters. The air quality was deemed extremely poor in Canada and in parts of the U.S., affecting areas like Illinois, Milwaukee, Michigan, Ohio, and the other Great Lakes areas. Additionally, over 200,000 Canadians had to be evacuated and displaced, and over 720 million was lost just in the British Columbia Peninsula alone. Now, as we switch over to our neighbors on the west side of the coast, across over there in California, the fire season is every single year, but it's in the summer months, and it's in the dry summer months, so that's ranging around from June to August. It's peak season. There are thousands of fires every year, so the state clumps them into regularly yearly seasons, with the fires of note being named. So there's fires like 3/8, 5/19, whatever the usual ones. And there's fires like the Camp Fire, the Woolly Fire, which we'll discuss on the website. You can find some images up there. Make sure to go see the website. Those fires receive a name because they're of particular significance to either cost damage or population damage or acreage burned. The fires have been increasing in frequency and intensity, with cost, fatalities, and acreage reported affecting, with cost, facilities, and acreage affected changing each year, subject to the fire's location, the fire's population. But however, with true climate change faction, the number of fires and the first responders dispatched and number of 911 calls changes every year in a positive factor. Positive meaning there are more calls, unfortunately. For the climate aspect, there have been many factors relating to the increase in both the intensity and frequency of forest fires due to climate change. In the California fires, the most important factor is the droughts. California experiences widespread droughts throughout the state. This affects both the fire's ability to ignite and spread, as well as the readiness and effectiveness of the first responders to the fires, according to Turco et al. And that paper found a correlation between the drought affecting the size and frequency of the fires. Drought was a controlling factor as it made the fire area drier, the fire spread more quickly, and then unfortunately first responders that were tasked to respond to it, they weren't able to get there in time due to the lack of water resources, so that held up the trucks, held up the planes, and you know the rest. And in Oklahoma as well, the drought is also a problem. Large, long grass plains with high wind speeds are a huge contributor to the wildfire's ability to spread, but unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, they cannot reach the scale that California and Canada has due to the lack of lush forests and ease of extinguishment compared to true forest fires in Canada and CM. In Oklahoma, They're large prairie fields, and you can kind of plow through them or cut across right there and break it right down the line. Whereas up in Canada and California, it's a large forest. You can't just pave through the forest that easy. It takes time, takes a lot of heavy equipment, and unfortunately, they can't respond to that kind of remote area as fast as they can in a flat urban area, not urban, but rural area such as Oklahoma. And now, switching back up to our new climate change victims in the north, Canada, maple syrup and hockey country. Canada's new forest fire problem has started in the last decade, with Alberta, British Columbia, the Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and Quebec all being ravaged in the summer of 23. This is the biggest, most expansive fire season known yet to Canada. Stay tuned for more. The 23 fires alone accounted for 23% of the annual CO2 emissions from wildfires, so that's wildfires only. And what scares us here at the Heatmiser Hour is the new factor of zombie fires. Now, what's a zombie fire? Is it the undead crawling from hell and spreading forest fires? No, it would be cool, but unfortunately it's not that. These fires are the smoldering remains of the summer 23 season, and they never fully went out as the winter approached and are still smoldering today. So picture Canada, snowy, blah, 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 the usual whatever, someone out there is wearing a French hat or something. The forest fires that were alive in summer, they were kind of extinguished, not so much. But much like a campfire, after you put it out, those embers are still hot and they're still smoldering down there. So wildfire experts and climate change scientists, such as our friend Sonia Leverskus, Leverkus, who is a wildlands firefighter and an ecosystem scientist based in British Columbia, she told us that these fires have existed before, and the zombie fires have existed as well, but they have never seen them on quite the scale like this. This is something new to them. They're very worried, as these fires are known to start new forest fires when the dry summer hot months come along, snow melts, heat starts cooking up, and then bam, you get wildfires popping up all over. It's like kind of like apocalypse now. Things are just going bad. They're going south. So we're going to be monitoring the situation in Canada very closely. As the weather warms and these zombie fires could rise from the dead again. So we will keep you posted, and we'll make sure that here at the Heatmiser Hour, we are your only and number one most reliable source for wildfire information. Thank you very much, everyone. We hope you have a great night. Good night.